Hi guys and welcome back to another Dot Race video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 21, continuing on with our MotoGP World Championship. It is now round 2 for Argentina. So starting in pole position is Johan Zarco with Miller and Quartararo on the front row, Espargaro, Rins and Bagnaia on the second, Vinales, Oliveira, Mir, Martin, Espargaro, Lackawanna, Savadori, Grant, Petrucci, Morbidelli, Binder, Marquez, Bastianini, Nakagami, Marini, Marquez and Rossi at the back of the grid. So starting here from way back, we can see the red lights and away we go. We need a good start here, otherwise we'll be stuck in the middle of the pack. So let's absolutely go for it with power setting 3 enabled, braking hard into turn 1. On the right hand side we will go, a little bit of contact made there from Paul Espargaro, bumping the rear of Joan Mir as well. Bumping the world champion is obviously not a good idea, as we get on the left hand side and try and dive up the inside of Miguel Oliveira. That was a brave and bold move if I ever did see one. Now diving over the inside of Alex Rins as we go onto the right hand side. We are already up into 6th position already. What a fantastic start for the man on board the Aprilia right now. Power setting 3 enabled, still getting in behind for Pecco Bagnaia. We were able to get through on the Ducati and past Aleix Espargaro, teammate beaten as well, but we do run it deep going into turn 5. Espargaro there on the right hand side. Bagnaia might even take advantage of our minor mistake, but we do actually dive over the inside of Aleix Espargaro as well. We are now up into 4th position, our best position ever in a MotoGP race right now, as we go hard on the brakes for the right hand of turn 7. We dive up on the inside of Fabio Quartararo now. We're up into the podium positions now for the very first time. What a magnificent start for the Moto2 world champion, but Fabio Quartararo responds extremely well. We get on the left hand side, we might take advantage of his little bit wide manoeuvre there. We're up into 3rd position once again. Apologise about the voice, it has been going today and all my videos recorded, but nonetheless we are still battling on very well. The medium front and the medium rear combination working wonders right now as we are in the podium positions for the very first time. Left hand side we will go, and we might be able to dive at the inside of Jack Miller now. Fantastically done there from Matt Grant. The Moto2 world champion is up into 2nd place. This is a magnificent race so far compared to Qatar just 1 week ago, or at least a couple of days ago in the terms of YouTube uploads. This is a completely different story. I felt great in the warm-up, I found some really good stuff. I found anti-wheelie 4, traction control 3 was what I was rather liking, but more importantly, smooth acceleration. I'm actually not accelerating as much as I was in Qatar, and the difference is so massive. The tyres are not spinning up too much, they're smooth, they're actually working well. Whether it's just the track or just the way I've learnt this sort of, well, not learnt it, but just reimagined the skill, I feel way more confident on board this Aprilia. That new upgrade that came as well, the frame upgrade I think it was, has made a big difference as well. But coming out of even corners like turn 3 and turn 6 there with power setting 2 enabled, much smoother on the power, just bringing on the acceleration, just being gentle with it, trying to leave it being controlled. You're going to see in the bottom right corner of the screen there with the acceleration, you'll see the difference on how I'm applying it, and even with the brakes, just getting more and more confidence. Playing Ride 4, jumping back over to MotoGP 21, jumping onto MXGP, jumping to Monster Energy Supercross. Every single game has a different style with the way they move the bikes, and the way they move the brakes and the acceleration. MotoGP 21 is a totally different beast to the lot of those, and I think I've finally fathomed out how to be smooth and how to be controlled with this bike, and we set the fastest lap of the race for the very first time. We are trailing in now behind Johan Zarco. Do we have a chance to actually lead a MotoGP race in just our 2nd Grand Prix? On the right hand side we go for Johan Zarco. Can we dethrone him onto the left-hander for turn 2? Not quite, but for that right-hander of turn 3, if we enable power setting 3, we might be able to get right onto the rear and get past him as we get onto the back straight. This wonderful straight now. Power setting 2, we might be able to jump into setting 3, but we'll leave it for now for 2 because we're already chasing him down. The Frenchman will be beaten as we get hard on the brakes. Not quite. Zarco holds off as well. Oh, wait, he did hold us off, but we're up at the inside. Beautiful move. Zarco ran it wide. Grant didn't. Grant is now up into the lead for the very first time in the MotoGP category. Magnificently done for the Moto2 world champion. What a complete difference a couple of days ago makes. Qatar, we struggled mightily. Here, it is a completely different story. We're now up into the lead. We know how much we love Argentina. We've seen it last year, we've seen it the year before. The Zarco is still there though. We mustn't get too excited because the Frenchman is still lurking around. Of course, he doesn't want to lose it. And of course, both of these men chasing a first Grand Prix victory. Neither of these two guys have won in the MotoGP class. Both men have won in Moto2, but only... Oh, Zarco dives with the inside. Brilliantly done there, but Grant responded well. Bravely done as we go into turn 14. It's all belt and braces now for the Moto2 World Champion, the man from Warrington, the 26-year-old turning 27 on Monday. What a result this would be. This would be one of my most proudest achievements if we can win. Well, even just get on the podium would be a fantastic result, but if we can win for my birthday on Monday, I will be absolutely elated. Let's see what we can do. Turn 2, up by 3.5 tenths of a second. Get it onto the right-hand side for turn 3. Make sure we don't cut the corner there. It is easy to do so, but thankfully we didn't do it there. Full acceleration now. Power setting 2. It's a tenth and a bit. It's still going to be close, but of course Zarco will have that superior speed on board the Ducati. The gap has come down to 70 thousandths of a second already. We've run it a little bit tight going into turn 5. Excuse me, quite the opposite tight. It was a little bit wide as we now go on to the left-hand side for turn 6. Lap 4 of 13 has been absolutely belting so far. Finally, we managed to get ahead of teammate Aleix Espargaro and Lorenzo Savadori, but for the time being, we only have one competition, and there is Johan Zarco feinting a move going up at the inside of turn 7. Didn't get the job done there, but you better believe he will be attacking us once again as we get on the left-hand side for turn 9. Zarco will try and go around the outside. That's a bold and brave move if he can get that done. Of course, he couldn't get that done because that would have been super tight. But Zarco back up at the inside again. The 120% difficulty AI do not falter at any corner. They want to get straight back ahead and start leading this Grand Prix. The difference in this final corner though is turn 13. We are very strong. There's a little bit of contacts made there with the Frenchman. We dive back up at the inside. Can we retake the lead across the line? We do, just temporarily. As Zarco will have the speed going into turn 1. Do we have the... Oh, there he is again. Johan Zarco up into the lead into turn 1. We'll get onto the right hand side, hug it tight to the apex, position ourselves in the middle of the track, but Zarco will fight back. Zarco on the brakes, fantastically done there for the Pramac Ducati rider. He's ran it a little bit wide. Can the Aprilia fight back? It's going to be neck and neck going into turn 3. What a Grand Prix so far, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we needed back in Qatar. We didn't need to be finishing in 20th place, fighting for 15th, 16th and beyond. We want to be here, fighting up at the front. Can we get... Oh, strong braking from Johan Zarco. The last of the late breakers on board that Ducati. Much later than I was. I was trying to be rather smooth as we dive back up the inside. The man from France against the man from Britain. It is going heck to a handbasket between these two men right now. Johan Zarco is an absolute beast to be reckoned with. He wants that first Grand Prix. I think he can feel it. But you know what? So do we. So do we, Zarco. So do we. Now we must focus on trying to regain that position on Zarco, because Zarco is the quickest in practice, the quickest in qualifying, and the quickest in warm-up. So we must, it's an absolute imperative part of this Grand Prix. We must stay with Zarco, because if he finds that rhythm that he found in the qualifying and practice sessions, it's good night Vienna. We've had some good laps so far, even though we've had some ding-dongs of a battle already. As we go into turn 13, we must stay with Johan Zarco. The Frenchman is going to be too strong if he begins to chuck in some fast lap times. Brilliantly come out of there in the final corner, getting really close to the back of Johan Zarco. I've also found a little bit of a method as well of upshifting myself. Now usually I play semi-automatic, which I still am here today in this Grand Prix video, but I was doing most of the upshifts myself and all of the downshifts myself. I wasn't doing that very much in Qatar, and the difference is massive. Finding that little bit of extra acceleration by upshifting a little bit quicker rather than what the game does has made a massive difference as well. So if you guys are struggling the same way I was in Qatar, try doing the upshifts yourself to give you that little bit of extra speed. It has made a tremendous amount of difference for me. But the biggest difference I'm finding, smooth acceleration, just gradually bringing on acceleration. I don't think the depiction of the actual bar itself, the gauge on the bottom right corner of your screen, really depicts it well. When I was playing this one, I did mostly just 70% of actual pushing down of the right trigger button, or R2 for the DualShock 4. It was very gentle, it was very controlled. It felt like I was doing it properly rather than the full acceleration and 80 to 90% of acceleration I was using in Qatar, because that seriously didn't work. But for the time being, back to the action unfolding right now. Zarco is getting away somewhat. This might be a short-lived battle up at the front, but we're going to do everything we can to stay within him. Just try and stay within range, try and get somewhere near him, and try and pick up some valuable slipstream. But a good place to notice as well is that the tyres on the rear don't seem to be heating up as well as they did, or excuse me, as much as they did in Qatar. You're going to see a smoother acceleration results in better temperatures and better quality for the tyres themselves, less degradation. It's going to be all focusing on just being smooth with the motorcycle. It's silly though, I forgot that, because I'm the one who preaches smooth riding more than anyone else on YouTube, I'm sure. That is the key here today to be successful. Once again, be smooth, be confident, be bold, and stay ace as always as we try and chase down Johan Zarco. Back into power setting 3. When you enable power setting 3, we have to be careful on the acceleration, because where you've been pulling so much for power setting 2, you might want to just pull off a little bit more gentle. The amount of gentleness in this controller is so much. It's actually harder to race these ones. I felt like my thumb was getting, my middle finger was getting really tired, my index finger was getting really tired, as Johan Zarco has a good old look behind him to say, are you coming or what? Are we having this ding-dong of a battle, or are you going to allow me to get to the front and disappear? I really don't want Johan Zarco to check out, because I think this Grand Prix has the potential to go down right to the final corner, where we're still just hanging in there just by 7/10 of a second. It's actually gone up to 8/10 of a second, as I mentioned. Now, you know, in this channel I've mentioned it many times before. If the rider in first place gets that 1 second advantage, it can break the resolve of anyone behind. So from second place to third place, we really don't want our resolve to be broken here today. I'm determined to get in behind Johan Zarco, but honestly guys, a podium finish after what we did in Qatar, this will feel like a victory no matter what. But if the victory is this close as it is right now, you better believe we're going all out. As I mentioned earlier, all belts and all braces, full on, going for it towards Johan Zarco. The Frenchman is leading this Grand Prix, and he is leading extremely well. But there's still plenty of lap times in this one yet, so plenty of laps, excuse me, not so much lap times, but we did set some nice lap times there. I can't even speak, my apologies, my throat is beginning to roar in anger. But one thing I'm noticing straight away compared to Qatar, look at our consistent lap times, much better than the mess we had in Qatar. But Argentina is one of those tracks I absolutely adore. I love this circuit so much. It's one of the best ones in the Grand Prix calendar by far. I've won MotoGP races online here in dominant fashion. I've won Moto2 races and online. I've won it in the career, not so much in the career mode, but in Moto3 we absolutely dominated with power setting 2, I think it was, or maybe power setting 3 and 1. It was a combination of them all. But right now we are still trailing just behind Johan Zarco by 5/10 of a second. Only 3/10 of a second behind our fastest pace lap time, which was a 1:35.966. I don't think we're going to be able to beat that once again, but we're going to try and get in closer as we get our first track limit warning there. Bit of a slap on the wrist there for Matt Grant for making that little bit of a mistake. But when you're this eager to chase down one of the best riders in MotoGP today, you're going to have to just try everything, aren't you? You may make mistakes, you might cut corners, you might crash, but this is part of the learning experience for us right now. As we get onto the left-hand side for turn 14, up-shifting myself here, I'm going to do some short shifting, try and chase down Johan Zarco, and that has made a massive difference already. Look how close we've managed to get onto the rear of Johan Zarco. Yes, we ran it a little bit wide into turn 1, but we'll get that nice sweeping line to try and get in behind the Ducati of Johan Zarco. Jack Miller certainly isn't going to make any impression on us right now, as he's 1.6 seconds behind. So this is a ding-dong of a battle between two of the somewhat opposite riders, if you will. Johan Zarco being the experienced veteran, and Grant being the absolute rookie in his first ever season of the MotoGP Championship. Now, of course, we did make a little bit of a mistake into turn 3 there. Another track limit warning was given, so we did lose our advantage that we had on Johan Zarco. But Zarco has now got that gap over to 1 second, so all it is now is how do we respond? Do we respond positively, or do we falter and go backwards? You better believe we're going to go forwards, but in the past we have been met with difficult situations, and I have ended up losing the front. Catalonia, Moto2 last season against Sam Lowes, I lost it. Mistakes in Austin, Texas, where I was chasing the leaders down, mistakes, long lap penalty. Austria fighting for the podium, mistakes were made. But this is a new look Matt Grant. This is the Aprilia Ace We won't let them down. They're desperate for a podium, and you know what? So are we. 21 long years of waiting for Aprilia to get a podium in the top class, in the best class in the entire world, and they could have that today. But if not better, I want to take a victory and a podium. That would be the absolute icing on the metaphorical cake. But right now we still have to get the job done and chase down Johann Zarco before we speak about a victory. But the gap is still there once again. Smooth and consistent lap times. Look at those past 5 lap times, all in the 136s, just varying by about 0.3 of a second. 0.3 of a second variation in those lap times. We can see how much of a difference this has truly made. This isn't about just trying to find the way to tackle one pace lap times. This is to get consistent, smooth acceleration, smooth power delivery, smooth on the brakes. This is how it's liking it. I'm loving this look now as we get a little bit out of control on brakes there. Hard on the brakes we went for turn 5. I was just speaking about being smooth and I went the complete opposite there. The pressure is getting me a little bit. I really need to focus on chasing down Johann Zarco, but I'm really pleased with those lap times nonetheless, and I hope you guys are too. So if you are, give a little bit of a like on this video, and maybe even subscribe as well if you really enjoyed it, that extra mile. But on the right hand side we go for turn 8. We'll continue to push and just give everything we've got to chase down Johann Zarco. The Frenchman is pretty comfortable right now, and I think he's just sort of balancing it and just sort of gauging where we are. He's sort of leading this Grand Prix in style. He is in charge well and truly, but who knows if we can surprise him, upset the apple cart, let's say, upset the Frenchman. Let's see what we can do. I do feel extremely strong going into this final corner. Coming into turn 14 with the short shifting going into turn 1 makes a tremendous difference. Let's see what we can produce here. Short shift up to 4th, up into 5th. And let's see if we can chase down Johann Zarco. A couple of tenths of a second has been pinched already from Matt Grant. Now onto the right hand side for turn 1, holding that right hand side, really rubbing that right Dainese knee onto the floor there as we now go into the left hand side for turn 2. Nice and tight apex somewhat, but we ran it a little bit deep following the racing line. Onto the right hand side where we'll now go a little bit extra brake there just to slow the motorcycle down. I think it was a mistake on my part. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I'm a little bit uneasy about putting into power setting 3. We'll just briefly go up into 3rd and then drop it down. Hard on the brakes we go with that right Dainese boot skipping across the tarmac as we go into the right hand side for turn 5. Zarco is in range, but he's still not close enough for a lunge. We're going to be closer and closer to the end of this lap, I'm sure, but we just have to keep on going. Another consistent lap time in lap 10 there as well. Really pleased with that consistency, but for right now, cutting a bit of the apex there for turn 8. Thankfully everything was okay for turn 7, sorry, because turn 8 is this one, as we go into the left-hander for turn 9 now. Back on the left-hand side, Jack Miller still occupying 3rd position by 1.9 seconds behind us. We are only a tenth of a second slower than our fastest lap of the race, which was set earlier on at 1:35.966. I think that was set on lap 4 or 3. But unfortunately I can't remember as of yet. But hard on the brakes we go for the right hander of turn 13. We are closing in rapidly on Johann Zarco. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to sit forward in my chair now because I'm going to get a bit excited. Across the line we'll go. That is the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, coming to the way of the man on board the Aprilia RSGP. Right hand side for turn 1. This gap has come down exponentially. We are right onto the rear of the Frenchman ahead of us. Johann Zarco is now only 1.5 tenths of a second just ahead of us up the road as we get onto the left hand side for turn 2. Up already into the first sector. We are gaining time on him all the time in each and every sector. This has been a fantastic lap already, chasing down Johann Zarco. Of course, Zarco went for the medium option tyres as well, the same as us, but have we managed it just that little bit better? Is Zarco baiting us in? Is he saving something for the last couple of laps? Well, it is the last couple of laps. We're on the penultimate lap right now. So on the right hand side we go for turn 5. Is it going to be close enough for a lunge? Not quite. The hands are beginning to shake. My apologies, the voice might start quivering too. But on the left hand side we go for turn 6. Going to get super close to Johann Zarco. Do we make a lunge going into turn 7? We're not going to be close enough. A little bit of contact's made there. Oh, rubbing is racing, as they say, as the Aprilia pushes Zarco wide as we now get into the lead. That was a bit aggressive from Grant, but we have taken the lead as Zarco will go around the outside. That is a brave move and get it done. We've got the same on the other Frenchman, Fabio Quartararo, and now we've done him in the same corner. Lord Almighty, ladies and gentlemen, goodness me, Zarco gets back up ahead again. This is going to be one heck of a ding-dong finish on this final lap. The penultimate lap has exploded with excitement. So have I. Onto the right-hand side we go for turn 13. Right-hand side, then to the left-hand side to turn 14. Do we have the line up at the inside? It's going to be neck and neck across the line. Up into the third, fourth gear, fifth gear, upshifting all the time and beginning to stutter, losing the voice as Zarco gets up inside to turn 1. Beautifully done, but Grant will respond. The tyres aren't looking too promising anymore, but we still have plenty of life left in them. Can we get up at the inside going into turn 2? We're going to have to... Oh, I thought about a lunge, I definitely did. I don't fancy making contact with the Frenchman once again because it was a bit aggressive, that move last time. Into turn 7. Power setting 3 enabled. Get in behind Johan Zarco. We still have plenty of fuel left. We could run power setting 3 all the way to the end, but I'm not a big fan of using power setting 3 in those tight corners. Slipstream enabled. Get up in the inside. Not quite. Zarco sliding the rear there. Bonus points for Zarco for sliding it in on the final lap of this Grand Prix. Lap 13 of 13 as Grant temporarily took the lead there. Zarco fights back, and now it's between these two men once again. Everyone else is just going to be a spectator in this battle as we go into the right-hand side for turn 7. Follow a nice tight apex. Can we dethrone Zarco from that top position? We're spinning up the rear a little bit. I'm getting too aggressive on the acceleration. Back to Qatar. No, we don't need to be doing that now. Left-hand side we go for turn 9. Zarco has the advantage. Has Zarco done it? Who's going to be the winner of the Argentinian Grand Prix? Who's going to take their first MotoGP victory? It looks like it's going to be Johan Zarco's. Has Zarco done the business here today in Argentina? South America looks like it's going to be claimed by Johan Zarco. Can Grant do anything going into the final couple of corners? Zarco's got the job done. Zarco wins. Grant takes second and Jack Miller finishes on the podium. What a win for Zarco. So guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen, we have claimed our very first podium in MotoGP in just our second race. 21 long years of drought for Aprilia has come to an end by the way of Matt Grant. Shout out to Johan Zarco for winning this Grand Prix in stunning fashion. Jack Miller finishes on the podium, but what a race. I can't even be mad with second position. A look at the championship standings, and Jack Miller leads by 3 points ahead of Johan Zarco, but look at Grant, up by 15 positions from 20th on the championship standings. We'd well and truly achieved our goal today, and then some. Starting 14th on the grid to then finish second is nothing to scoff at. So look at the team championship, and Ducati Lenovo team well and truly lead by 20 points over ahead of another Ducati team, of course Pramac Racing. 30 points ahead of Monster Energy Yamaha MotoGP, and 35 ahead of Aprilia Racing Team Gresini. A look at the Team Constructors Championship, Ducati are leading by 19 points ahead of Yamaha and 25 ahead of Aprilia. So ladies and gentlemen, how about that then? Your first MotoGP Parc Ferme with Matt Grant. The Aprilia is back in Parc Ferme, and not just by an independent team. This is a magnificent result for Grant and for this team. This is just proven that we do believe in Aprilia. We do believe that we can get the job done. Qatar was a disaster. Qatar felt like it was on 300% difficulty, but 120% difficulty. We do manage to tackle it here in Argentina, and we'll take a look at our very first podium celebration in MotoGP. Shout out to Pramac Ducati for winning the honours here today. Zarco was absolutely unbeatable. We gave him everything we could to try and dethrone him, but ultimately the Frenchman had a little bit more to give than we did. So guys, as always, thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment and subscribe if you did, and hit the notification bell to be alerted to every single Dot Race upload. Thanks for watching guys, enjoy the carver, and I'll see you next time. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more Dot Race content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single Dot Race video.